Today, October the 13th, 2008, will go down in history for several reasons. Number one, around 1 trillion euros of new money was pledged by European governments in one way or another, directly or indirectly, to try and solve, finally, the credit crunch. Whether they do that, only history will tell. But we've seen huge initiatives over the weekend, led by Gordon Brown in the UK, and with a wave of nationalisation, taking hold of banks, putting capital into them, to a once-and-for-all, hopefully, solution to their balance sheets. And why is this happening? Because the banks have been helped in one way or another, but still they're not playing the game. It's as if the Chancellor has said to these banks one by one, if you don't play the game, I'm taking away your toys, or I'm going to run the game myself. So he confronted various banks with their balance sheets. They said they needed X amount, and he said, no, I think you need more. And what's more, I'm going to force you to take it. Either you raise it in the market in the next few days, or the government is going to take that amount of share in your businesses. And what's more, we're going to need a slice of the action in terms of a say in how this business is run. Because if you banks aren't going to lend to each other, despite all the help that's been given, what hope is there? So the government will go in, they will control the situation for a while and make sure that these banks actually start lending, and at the same time guarantee the interlending process. So you've seen a partial nationalisation or a majority nationalisation in the last couple of days across a number of the banks in the UK. You will see similar measures probably taking place in the United States and in other parts of the world. And what's the value of it all? We don't really know, but if you were to total it all up, it could be a total of around 1 trillion euros of new support in just a couple of days. Will it be enough? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the markets can be in no doubt now that global governments, global leaders of international institutions are all working together, whether they're leaders of banks, whether they're leaders of nations, whether they're the United States, whether it's China or Russia or Iceland or the European nations. They are saying together with one voice, this problem will be fixed. We cannot allow the whole of the banking system to collapse because of the lack of flow. In the olden days, we had seen runs of banks against banks by individual savers who got nervous and they withdrew their money. You saw queues outside of banks. But these days, even though the individual savers have had most of their savings guaranteed up to a certain limit, we've been seeing runs on the banks, not by individuals, but by other banks who have refused to lend to each other. There has been zero trust. The whole of the interbank lending system has completely seized up. And this has had effects which are far-reaching. It has been difficult, for example, to load cars into a container in order to bring them from, say, Taiwan or Hong Kong to the UK. Why? Because you couldn't find a bank to underwrite the transaction. So import, export slowing down. The loans to companies slowing down. Very large companies with large loans for very illegitimate reasons, which are set against all kinds of capital assets which they have, even these loans being called into question by the institutions which lent them the money in the first place. So very serious issues. The world has been on the edge of economic meltdown, and we will see whether history was made and whether these were enough to turn the whole situation around.